Hello and welcome back. It's day 90. This is the runaway growth story of 2018 so far. Although there's not that much competition, the Swiss chard plants got off to a later start, and the pineapple crown isn't doing much. The Joshua tree, Josh, is growing faster, but very, very slow compared to all the other plants. But it's still hanging in there. So there's been just continuous leaf growth. I'm very happy. The compound leaves just get bigger and bigger. They start off somewhat of a yellowish green, and then they turn darker green, or a beautiful emerald green that's sort of translucent if strong sunlight shines on them, depending on what angle you're looking at, if you're on the other side of the sun. So these compound leaves are really, really big. I wear medium-sized gloves. My hands are quite meaty, so I don't know how big these leaves are supposed to get, but it seems like they just keep growing. And this bottom one, which was once the prize, I think in some of the earlier episodes, has a leaf tip that's touching the soil, the smoothie stuff on top, and it's sort of got a burned tip or rotting leaf tip. But I don't think any of these defects really matter in the grand scheme. Here you can see some curled leaves in the back, on the lower reaches. All of the earlier foliage, which was probably deprived of nutrition because that was that all predates me putting on clay loam, wild dirt in a big fat layer. And then there was the banana peel smoothie, and there's additional fertilization later in this episode, as I'll show you. It's quite interesting. So this primocane that shot off has sort of altered the trajectory of the original stick. It's no longer perpendicular to the soil. So it's day 92, and I was thinking, what else could I supplement the banana peel smoothie with? Well, I ate 6 mangoes, and I saved the seeds up in the freezer, which probably helped because when you freeze plant or animal cells, the water expands as it freezes, so that shatters the cells. Cell walls are very tough, and by freezing all this stuff, I probably helped lyse a lot of the cells to release the contents within, and that'll make it even easier to blend as well as get nutrition into the soil mass quicker. So that's 6 mangoes worth of seeds and peels, and you can't get the peels without a little bit of the fruit flesh attached, some pulp, and of course lots of sugar, fructose, and whatnot. So I hope that's not too much fruit peel and it's not too sweet. Banana peel is probably not sweet. I've never eaten it. I have heard of people in starvation situations just eating the peel, and I think that's fine. But I don't think there's a lot of sugar content in there compared to the banana flesh itself. So upon blending, this sort of resembles an apple being blended in terms of colorization. It's not oxidizing before our very eyes like the banana peel smoothie did before, which turned quickly from yellow to black or very dark brown. So on 5x fast forward, you could see the salsa jar in the background, the garlic chipotle salsa, running away, and it's pushing that big water jug from my old water distiller out of the way as well, and the pepper bottle is actually retreating along with the salt shaker. I didn't notice any of this at first until I reviewed the footage, and especially on fast forward, it's really obvious. So the color's not changing, and it's not homogenizing anymore. And I turned down the volume because I don't want to subject you to any of that. It was really loud. So I'm pouring this the mango smoothie, and it's very viscous and somewhat messy, just like the banana peel smoothie was. And this is not as thick because I added more water, and the consistency is definitely different because it's seeds. I think seeds have a lot of fat in them. Primarily, that's what they have in them. So there are also carbohydrates, proteins, and of course all the compounds that developing mangoes need. So the reason I chose mango seeds is because mangoes taste delicious, and you have these big seeds inside that I never ever looked at until I tried growing them last year, and I might try growing them quite soon again. I have attempts underway. But that's just a lot of organic waste that's sterile. It's not going to have any bugs or parasites in it. If I were to go out into the wild and harvest and pull up some, say, wild fennel or wild mustard, or just pull everything up by the roots, it would bring a lot of bugs with it. And if I blended that, maybe that would chop out the bigger bugs. But I'm not sure that it would get rid of all the eggs and other potential parasites in there. And it would be a lot of trouble to sterilize all that. So I opted for the mango seeds and peels. Maybe in the future I'll just do the mango seeds. I don't think the peels add necessarily too much, and they've got a waxy coat, I suppose, so that might not be good. So it looks just like a yellow slime, sort of like mustard actually right now. And I'm going to spread it out to more uniformly, evenly cover the surface. And I suppose this also keeps out the fungus gnats, keeps them entombed in there if they're trying to emerge, and prevents adult fungus gnats from going in and laying eggs. So I think that's one of the great benefits, at least for a few days. So it's day 95. There's continued torrid growth and expansion. The leaves are a beautiful dark green, depending on how far away I hold the camera. And the surface of this mango seed smoothie has cracked. It looks more like a cookie now. Sort of like maybe not a chocolate chip cookie, but it looks like some sort of cookie. Almost looks like peanut brittle too. So that's quite fun to look at, actually. It's harkens back to those days when I had sand on top to prevent fungus gnats from going in and out, as well as diatomaceous earth. Sort of like being at the beach. Well, this is like being at the buffet or whatever, you see a giant cookie. So it's quite the fun innovation, but I don't know what it's going to look like in a few days. And I think the nutrition will take quite a while to seep down in there, although I blended it up pretty well. So it's day 99, and I moved. It's the same apartment complex, but I'm on the other side now. The balcony faces east instead of west, so I get morning sun. On this day, I got sun from about 7:30. Well, that was the earliest I checked, all the way until 11:30. And the courtyard is very quiet. It's got a lot of birds, and it's full of queen palms and banana trees. This is pretty typical landscaping of Southern California apartment complexes. And I remember I used to have an apartment in a place where there was a big dense courtyard with a water fountain, and seagulls would come and make a lot of noise in the middle of the night. So this leaf right here is fused, and I don't know what happened there, but some compound leaves eventually emerged with 5 leaflets instead of 3. So as with the passion fruit series, if you watched that series or remember anything I said in there, it was basically the leaf morphology changes as the plant ages and develops. Now that it's more mature, you'll notice different leaf structures. And as I mentioned before, I don't think there's any need to have all the leaves look exactly the same. So I changed the configuration of everything. It's still the same day, day 99, and I just wanted to put my tables against here, the rail, which is open and very nice because that allows sunlight to come through the bottom as well. And that's almost full sun down there too, so I could put additional pots in there. I can get a lot more plant growing series going. I can have a lot more pots. I'll probably stick with smaller, medium-sized pots. No more of these big 14-inch, 16-inch behemoths. Actually, there are pots out there that are way, way bigger, but by my standards, those are already quite large and unwieldy, not very suitable for starting new plant series. So the cookie here looks quite gross. It looks moldy, this mango seed smoothie on the bottom. And perhaps that's because we had a spate of cloudy days and I watered too much. But I think that rot is just confined to the surface. It'll be fine because that mold and fungi isn't infesting the roots. And I don't think that's the same as beneficial mycorrhizal fungi, which make mushrooms. So the leaves keep getting bigger and bigger. There are some that are more defective from the earlier days on top of that original floricane. And this is a giant fused leaf. Maybe it's the biggest raspberry leaf ever. I don't know. I think the pictures that I've seen online, the leaves in them look pretty puny compared to what I have here. And this really reminds me of my Charente melon series in 2014 where I used a whole big pot's worth of wild dirt. And at first, the clay in there provided so much nutrition that the leaves were huge. So despite the cookie looking awfully moldy and kind of gross right now, I think this series is headed towards greatness. The leaves are probably going to get even bigger. So I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks for watching.